Hello once again, witchy people. So this is part of the series that I decided to do on giving my opinions and thoughts rather than how-tos and such like to people who are perhaps new to the craft. So today I want to talk about stuff. Tools mostly. So do you need lots of tools? No, you really don't. But do you need lots of tools? Yes, you do. Want, need. I think most witches have a deep yearning to collect things. We are all hoarders. We love boxes full of things. We like stones and gems and candles and incense and just boxes of stuff. And anything that can be associated with our craft, because you don't, it's a specialist niche sort of area for a lot of people. You know, you can go and buy a cross or a Star of David. Oh, my brain. Almost anywhere. You know, it's very easy to find a Torah or a Bible. For your own path, that's much more difficult. You have to go to special places to find pentagram jewellery and the tools that you would like to use in your practice. And because they are quite hard to come by, to a certain extent, they're special and we want them. We want them to show that we are a witch. But that's part of it, I think. It's like, look at me, I'm a witch. This is some of my stuff. And we love stuff. So, one of the first things I'm going to say is, what do you call your things? And I've taken a few things out of my altar. I have an altar box. Do you need an altar? That should be the first thing. No, you don't. I have a shelf. You can have a shelf. You could have a drawer that you open up and have things in. You know, that you display things in if you want to keep it more secret. Do you need an altar at all? No, you don't. Do I need an altar? No. I'm a hedge witch. I don't do altars, really. This is what I call an Athame. Many people call it an Athame, or an Athame, or an Athame. You could call it Henry for all I care. It is a ritual but ceremonial dagger that, if you were, say, for instance, a Wiccan, I do believe you use it to slice the air. Basically, it's not used to harm anything. This one is actually quite sharp. And it's actually very old, considering it's about 25-30 years old, possibly. And it's totally metal. It's got a metal handle and everything. But like I said, you call it what you want. You can call it a ceremonial sword, a ritual, a ceremonial dagger, a ritual dagger, a dagger, the sharp black pointy thing I keep in my room. You can call it, like I said, call it Henry if you like. I happen to call it an Athame. Most people, I think, call it an Athame. So, do I need this? No. Do I need it in my practice? No, I don't. Do I like having it? Yes, I do. Does it bother me that some people may call me out on what I name certain objects? No, because there are other people that will call this an Athame. And it's got, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, it's got a gorgeous eagle. Some bird of prey on it, anyway. Okay. One thing that I do use in my practice is this. Now this is another knife. This knife is used. It is a Baleen. Now once again, now this is used specifically to chop herbs for spells. This is a silver leaf one. It's actually called silver leaf. I don't know if you can see just there. So this is like I say, it's called a Baleen. Some people call it a Baleen. Some people just call it a herb knife, or a what they call their practice knife, their witchcraft knife. But it's used really for, I will admit, yes, there are some witches that do bloodletting and they use a separate, they wouldn't use this for bloodletting, but they would use a specific knife used for bloodletting. I don't do bloodletting. Not on purpose anyway. I'm not saying I've never cut myself whilst doing certain things, but anyway. So that's my Baleen. I call it a Baleen. Some people call it a Baleen. And that is just for my herbs. Do I need it? Actually, yes, this one I do. And I do have a separate knife for my herbs, because, and it's kept specifically for herbs because I don't like to cross-contaminate it with anything else. I also have different knives, but this is my main one. This was the first one I had, and I've kept it. So depending on what path you are choosing depends on what tools you will need. And you can always get people to gift you things. One of the best ways to get things is, for instance, I like to use a bell. This is one of my many bells. I have metal bells, wooden bells, glass bells, and see, it's quite a nice sound. Everyone's asleep, so I'm trying to keep quite quiet. This was found in a charity shop. My other bell, one of my other bells, is a very old bell that I don't even know where it came from now. I think it's my nan's, and it's stuck. Oh, there it is. There's the clanger, and it's, you know, some people use cowbells. You know, this is just, like I said, it's a tiny bell with a, you could use Christmas decorations if you wanted to, repurpose Christmas decorations. Do you need a bell? No, you don't. Unless you like to have one. But like I said, you don't have to go out and buy all these expensive things. If I wanted to, I could get some, perhaps vinyl or something, or even I have an etching tool and I could etch a pentagram on this, or a moon, or triple moon, or goddess, anything I wanted to. But I like it as it is. Another thing that a lot of witches have will be a goblet or a ceremonial cup. I do have a ceremonial cup. It's a two-handled cup. I don't use it very often. I do have other goblets. I have this one, which is wooden. I have a glass one somewhere. And I have this one, which was bought for me by my sister witch and very, very beautiful friend. And she gifted me this last Yule. And I absolutely love it. It's beautifully carved. And it's lovely to feel. Do I need it? No, I don't. I don't. Being a hedge witch, I don't do a lot of ritual, if any, really. I do a lot of spell work, and this can come in useful for spell work. But I don't really do ritual. I do a lot of what they call low magic, not high magic. So low magic, peasant magic. Not a lot of ceremonial or high magic here. So I don't need it, but it's a nice thing to have. Candles and incense, I think that's something different, because that's not something really you can replace with something else. It's nice to have candles. I'm going to have, see, I have candles burning now. Candles burning, incense. Once again, it also depends on your path, whether you have things, and certain things that you may or may not need. Something else is a fan. A lot of witches will have a fan, and it is simply to blow or to wave candle smoke, candle light, candle flame, incense smoke, anything like that. This also depends on your feelings about. I don't often use my fan unless it's really hot, and then I'll use it. I do like to blow out candles. It's quick, it's easy, or I lick, pinch the flame. A lot of witches do not like to blow out a candle because they think it's offensive to the element of fire that you are blowing out the candle. They prefer to snuff it out, which is, you might want a candle snuffer. When they light a candle with a match, they don't blow out the match, they shake it or dip it in water, which I don't see the difference between putting it out in water or blowing it out. You're still using one element to vanquish another. Anyway, so you don't need these things. Now, like I said before, I am a hedge witch, so part of my practice is a lot of divination. Not necessarily because I need to do it, but I enjoy doing it. So I have a lot of divination tools, which I should probably go into it in a separate video, but I have a lot of, okay, here's one. I do have a larger version of this. This is just a mirror. This is just a photo frame with glass in it, and it's got a piece of black card behind the glass, and that is used for scrying. And like I said, it's just a cheap metal photo frame. You don't have to buy a black mirror, you don't have to buy a piece of obsidian, you can just have a piece of glass such as a mirror frame, a photo frame with a piece of black card behind it. That works really well, and all you need then is a little tea light in front of it to help you focus. Like I said, this is my travel one. I have a larger one, but some people prefer to use just a normal mirror, and this is I think it's more like it's plastic. A lot of witches don't like to use plastic, but once again, it's what you're comfortable with, what you can get hold of. So talking of scrying, I do have a lot of crystal balls. This one is citrine. I have many different, I have small ones, I have quite a few. I have black, red, purple, blue. It's one of my black ones. I have a clear crystal ball. You can buy little stands for them, such as these. Something else you may wish to consider, this is obviously not the right size for this, but you can get them. You can also get, this is a lid off a coffee jar, but you can also get the lids off candles when you finish with them, and they tend to be smaller, which you can use as a stand. I'll get out my larger ball. This was a gift, and it's tightly tucked in here. So this is my large black crystal ball, and I do use a larger teapot lid for it, but even a small one is perfectly fine to hold this. What's also brilliant about this is I can put little electric lights in the bottom, or I can infuse this, put a bit of oil in the bottom, or a special like a candle wax, and put a seal in it, or a piece of paper in the bottom, something to help me with the divination when I use the black divination ball. So they're brilliant. And I did a witchcraft on a budget, and I mentioned these. So always think about, do you need a crystal ball? If you're into crystal gazing, then yes, but you know, you could use a bowl of water. Is just as effective. And if you prefer a colour one, get some black food dye or even some black ink, and pop a bit of black ink in a bowl of water, and there you have the equivalent of a crystal ball, really. And you scry with water. So do you need these things? No, you don't. And some people like to call it an orb, some people like to call it a crystal ball, but it's, do you need them? No, there are things you can use instead, but you know, you call it what you like. Something else, this is a, see if I can bring it closer, this is a sacred geometry set. It was a present from my husband actually, and it says the Sacred Geometry Collection, the Platonic Solids, and they are quartz crystal. It was quite an expensive set. I've never actually used them, but I think they're very pretty to look at. So I don't actually need these, and I've never used them. But if you were to use them in your practice, then yes, it could be something that you needed. Do they have to be quartz crystal? No, they don't. You could even have someone carve crystal, the geometric shapes, and use it. If you have more of affinity, say for wood, or perhaps earth, you could use clay. Although it's crystal geometry, if you wanted to use the geometric shapes in your magic, it doesn't have to be crystal. Lastly, for this one, what I'm going to talk about is cloths, altar cloths. I've got several. This is part of one. Oh, that's half of one there. And oh, it smells lovely. It smells like all the incense and the candles that I keep in my altar box. My altar box, by the way, is an old blanket box that my husband found when he worked at a second-hand store many, many years ago. And I painted it, and it's painted blue. It has Ariel the Wind Singer on the front of it, and it has a goddess on the back. But yeah, it's not anything hugely special. It's just what I like to use, and it just that's what I had. So other cloths, and I can't find it. Where's my purple cloth gone? I have a beautiful purple one that was actually made for me by, no, I've put it down somewhere, I have no idea. It was made for me. It's made out of this purple, and it has embroidered pentagrams on it, made for me by the same lady who made me this, who was the same lady who gifted me this. And I keep like I said, keep it in my altar box, and several things I carry in, like things like this. It's a really useful metal tray. I got it at a charity shop. One person's rubbish is another person's treasure. It is worth begging, borrowing, making. I mean, you don't need a wand. A wand is basically an extension of your finger, an extension of the power that you feel coming out of your hand. It's a transference of energy. It's a pushing of energy. You can just pick a stick up off the ground. It doesn't have to be a specific kind of stick. It's just anything that calls to you. So, like I said, you can call your wand a stick. You can call it Fred. I don't... It's up to you. Now, yes, there are certain traditions that do like you to follow quite closely their pattern of doing things, but even then there's still room for your own personality, your own thoughts, and what feels right for you. I've got so many crystals, it's unbelievable, as an example, and I use them how I feel I want to use them. So if someone says to me, this crystal is pronounced, I don't know, I think everyone calls it obsidian, but say someone pronounced it a different way and it's used for one thing, but I don't think so. I want to use it in a different way. You use it how that piece of equipment, that tool, feels for you. So I have, for instance, I do have a lot of pendulums as well, but this one is quite useful because this one you open it up and you put your own stone inside. But I have a lot of pendulums just for, different ones. I've got amethyst, oh you name it, I've probably got it. And I keep them all in plastic. I know I shouldn't, but I have pendulums shaped like that, and I have pointed pendulums, and I have this pendulum. There you go, there's one of my pointy pendulums. And I have a whole set of rose quartz ones. and I use them for what I feel they talk to me. So if I want to use rose crystal for opening my third eye, helping me with psychic visions, even though it's mainly used for healing and love, well, then I use it for what I feel it should be used for, because that's the power that's talking to me. That's how its energy is reacting with me. So if I use something because I'm told that's how it should be used, but I don't feel that it's right for me, then what I use it for is going to fail. So you call it what you need to. Don't tell, don't be told what you can or cannot call something. Don't be intimidated. Once again, I always say, do not be intimidated by more seasoned witches. Some people have been witches for 50, 60 years, and they know no more than someone who's just a naturally gifted witch who's only looked into paganism and witchcraft for 6 months. It depends on the person, not how long you've been a witch. So don't let longevity put you off or think that you're not good enough. And always be open to what people say. Yes, don't say, well, I call it this and I'm right, because then you're being just as bad as someone who says that to you. But do try to learn from people, but give back as well. And like I said, always be open to the fact that you can always learn something new. Thrift stores are your friend. Friends are your friends. A lot of witches will find that there's a lot of stuff I've given away. If you belong to a lot of YouTube channels, when people reach a certain amount of subscribers, they like to have giveaways. This is a good way to be able to start collecting some things. I mean, I know on my next giveaway, I will get the words out, I think I have 3 oracle card sets that I'm going to give away. And I do have a lot of oracle cards. But once again, I have oracle cards. Some other people like tarot cards. I don't cope very well with tarot cards. But oracle cards I get on very well with. So don't be intimidated by more seasoned witches. They don't necessarily know more than you do. If you want to call something a particular name within your practice, it's your practice. Call it what you want. And, use things how you feel they should be used. It's nice to have the information out there, sort of go to a Witchcraft 101 sort of thing and, find out what colours and days and such like correspondences. So if you did a spell on a certain day or a certain time or a certain when the moon is waxing or waning or whatever, you can increase the power of your spell. But for the most part, you do spell work when it needs to be done. The energy and the power is within yourself, not within everything that you accumulate around the spell. It is you, your energy, your focus. So I'm going to be quiet on this subject now. I will be doing another one pretty soon. But for now, like I said, call it what you want. Do with it as you want. Learn from others. Get an idea of how you think things should be used, perhaps from others. But if it doesn't feel quite right for you, change it up. Switch it around. It's your practice. It's your belief system. So there you go. Tools, and not how to use them, but what you can or can't do, regardless of what other people say. Thank you for watching, witchy people. I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.